Box and the Beard. We are back after a long time. Actually don't know how long it's been, but it's been a long time.
I believe it's like January because I think it was I think it was before your birthday, definitely before we recorded. Honestly,
No,
yeah.
it was it was just after my birthday because
Oh yeah,
I had
yeah.
my head shaved. I just had my head shaved.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, yeah, yeah.
It was the week before the birthday party, but yeah.
We couldn't even blame COVID for the podcast like taking a big break as well. It was before all that.
Well,
That was
no,
the
we were
weird
so
thing.
affected by Wuhan
Oh man, yeah,
being affected. We've just got so much family in Wuhan.
yeah.
Just
Big
we
up,
can carry on.
big
To be
up the
honest,
woo. Yeah.
I think it was a mixture of everything. Like second year is quite a it's definitely a step up from first year, like
Oh,
quite an
definitely.
intense way.
Especially the second term.
Hmm.
I think the first term I was like, oh, this isn't too bad, this is fine, and then second term just came in and just
Yeah,
kind of knocked me out, man. A couple of times I was a bit overwhelmed, but yeah, we got through it. It's fine.
yeah.
It's all good
I feel
now.
like second and third time almost blended into one, and this kind of comes back to coronavirus, just in the sense that I feel like there was never a point where second term kind of ended, and throughout the whole like Easter break that we had, there was there was just so much work to do. We had like 3 deadlines for like one during the break and then 2 for straight after the break. And then as soon as I got those 3 deadlines in, I felt like I had 4 more deadlines, and it was just like, oh my god.
Yeah, literally, man. Like every time you'd finish one deadline, and you felt the relief because that had gone, but then you still had like 3 or 4 like still
Yeah.
waiting in the wings. It was so annoying, and like, yeah, that like May period, that sort of like April May period, it was just like it was constantly just like just work and like, yeah, I'd feel really bad when I had days I didn't do anything. So I was like, oh, that was
Exactly.
I got it all done. I got it all done in perfect time, but it's just it wasn't stressful, but it was just a lot of effort to go into
Yeah,
all that stuff.
it was like all consuming. Like it took all of my like mental capacity and like time, and like I remember like just waking up and like eating your breakfast, and the first thing I'm thinking is like, oh yeah, I've got work to do today. And then like at times I'd even like be going to bed and be thinking about the work that I was doing during the day, and be like, oh yeah, no, I could probably do that tomorrow, and then I could change that and do this. It's just like, oh.
Yeah, literally, even when I wasn't doing it, I was just thinking about it all the time, like as in like,
Yeah.
oh, what can I do? I'm so glad it's done, to be honest.
And
So
I
glad.
do think that is part of the problem with the whole coronavirus thing. Is I've said it to so many people. It's the whole "don't shit where you sleep" thing. I have done all my work and played and had all my fun within this chair that I'm sat in right now.
My
Like,
room's like that. I have like that literally. If you
exactly.
see, I don't know if we're not doing the video thing for this, but my bed's right behind me. I've got
Yeah.
like behind the thing we're filming on. Like I've got my TV, my PlayStation's literally just to the left of me, and like my record player's to the right of me as well. Like
Yeah.
literally my whole room. My thing. I have the exact same thing like that.
Yeah, so everything that you enjoy, you work on, you sleep in, you get changed,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
dry yourself, literally everything is done within a few feet of where I'm sat. So like when I did have those few hours where I'm like, okay, I'm not going to work for these few hours, I'm just going to go play PlayStation. The only difference that happened with like my physical stance was I moved slightly, like I looked slightly to my left instead of
Yeah.
straight forward, and it does something about that mindset of not being able to take yourself out of where you work. Like at uni, I'd be in the newsroom or at the library doing work, so I'm able to go home and I'm not in that work mindset. And I think it definitely affected my sleep because like I
Oh,
said, like,
definitely.
I'd find myself trying to sleep but thinking like, oh yeah, no, that news package that I've done, I probably could flip that there and then do that, and then, oh, actually, what if I interviewed this person? And like I'd always be thinking about my work because literally a foot away from where I'm sleeping is the chair that I work in.
Yeah, that's why I still do it. Like that's why I've been going on daily walks as well. Like because it just even literally, I think I go for maybe like a half hour to 45-minute walk, just literally just like around the canal, but it loops back around Cross Weybridge where I live. And that's always a nice thing to do, is chuck on some tunes, go for a walk. The only downside of those walks, man, is just like because the canal section is so thin. Like quite often this isn't the inconvenient, but I'll like tuck in and let people through. But not everyone, but some people just don't cooperate, man. Like they
Definitely.
don't. I'm like, throw me a bone, man. Like, give me some space, or like, some people are just. There have been some people who've been very like good in that kind of stuff. But there are just some people like you're walking down this narrow bit and they just don't help you. And that's one thing that kind of annoys me a lot. Like, I'm happy to tuck in if there's like a bit where I can tuck in, but quite often I just can't. And I'm not going to throw myself into a stinging nettle bush. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, just help me out here, man. Come on.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. I honestly, I should be going on walks more. I haven't gone on, well, I've gone on one during the whole of lockdown. I actually just really dislike walking. I find walking a really tedious activity. I hate walking.
See, I'm
But
the
I might
opposite.
start riding my bike. I feel like that would be,
Bike riding is a good thing as well. The things I like walking a lot. I think it's because it's always something. My family always like a good walk, and also like even just when I went to primary school and stuff, like I'd walk to cause my primary school isn't that far from where I live, so like I'd be walking to school every day in my primary school. So I've always enjoyed a good walk. Like even when I did work experience, like because the Essex buses are so unreliable, I'd walk to my work experience, which was like good like 50-minute walk, but I didn't mind it.
yeah.
It was also good
Yeah,
exercise.
no, I can't do that.
Walking is an underrated exercise, in my
I,
opinion.
I don't know, like when I'm walking, I just kind of get bored, and then I'm like, oh, I want to do this quicker, so then I just start like pace walking, and then I get like really hot, and then I'm like, oh, I need to take off my jacket, I'm hot, and I'll take off my jacket, and then I'll get too cold, and then I'll put my jacket on, and then by the time I've got to the place, I'm just really sweaty and just like, I'm just not enjoying this. I also like, but I remember like walking to school back in the day. I used to like anxiety sweat. I don't know if you've ever had that, like where like you're walking and you'd like get just really anxious and just like, oh, so you start sweating and then you start being anxious that you're sweating, and it's just like a vicious cycle of like just sweat. I remember getting to school and just have like the sweatiest armpits, and it's literally a 5-minute walk, 10-minute walk.
Yeah, no, I never really I've never really had like the anxiety sweat stuff, but there've been times during the winter as well, like where, because I'm a fairly fast walker, I think like I do, because I'm a fairly fast walker, I do develop a bit of a like, I do get a bit hot because I think just because I'm quite a fast walker, so like, even though it'd be quite cold, or like quite often I'd walk into some of our lectures or like whatever, and I'd be pretty hot and I'd be like,
yeah.
Like, but I don't think that was anxiety sweat. I think that was just from walking quite fast.
I definitely struggle most in winter is you've got your big coat on and then just pacing it. I just can't. I don't know. I'm just not a massive fan. I do like bike riding though, and I have decided that every Friday now I'm going to try to make an active effort to go on a bike ride with my laptop and a speaker. And there's like a big, nice country park. It's actually where the mountain biking track for the Olympics is. It's just at the end of my road. Yeah, there's like it's just a nice country park over there. So I'm going to try to ride my bike down there with my laptop, with a speaker, and just listen to music and just do some work on the fields over there.
That's
just try and find a space where no one goes.
Yeah, no, Weybridge, one thing I'm very thankful for is like where I live, like there's just loads of really nice places to go for walks and stuff. Like there's just some nice bits, like there's canal bits and stuff. And I knew about this place for a while, but I've only started going there properly sort of recently. On my usual walk, I sort of go over this canal bridge and it sort of leads around to this park, and then that's what loops back around into the Weybridge town bit, and then I walk back around to my house. But since they've limited the lockdown restrictions and you can meet up with one person at social distance, I've gone for a couple of meetups with my mate Marcus, who and we've just gone for some tins in this park. Like there's a few people there, but like in comparison to other places in Weybridge, there's so many less people there because I don't think many people know about it. But it's a good park. That I think there's a sign near it that says, I didn't even notice this but I went yesterday. There's like a sign that says like Weybridge's best kept secret, and I think that's a cool name for it because it really is. It's a really cool park. I'll see if I send you some pictures if I have any. It's a cool park. Like no one really goes there. Whereas like you've got a cricket green as well, which a lot of people are there, and then there's Weybridge Park, like that's always packed. And then there's like this place called Desborough Island. It's a massive place, and that's like it leads onto like the next town, Walton and stuff. But again, loads of people go there as well to walk their dogs. So like, but that place is quite nice because not too many people know about it. So it's a nice little spot.
You saying about obviously Boris like reduce the restrictions a bit for you to be able to meet like one of your mates at the park or wherever.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the way the government have acted during coronavirus?
Right.
I know we're not really a political commentary.
No,
Podcast,
I think I think, to be honest, the way it was handled, especially when it first broke into the UK, I thought it was handled awfully. I think the herd mentality thing, I was genuinely really surprised that they thought that was a good idea. To me, it sounds that's a very like to me it sounded like such a simplistic way of thinking. Obviously, I'm not an expert in that kind of field in terms of, but I think why would you? I just think why it doesn't on paper it doesn't sound like it's going to work. Like this virus kills people. Why are they doing it? Like they've done that kind of thing before, but with I think it was viruses that weren't or things that spread that weren't like didn't kill a lot of people. Whereas this has. Like, why are you doing that? Why are you sacrificing so much of your population? Like it's to me, I feel like a lot of the Tory government, especially people like Cummings, they see people as just statistics and numbers, and they don't really think about it, which is quite a scary thing. They've gotten better in some regards, which we'll get on. Like I think in terms of now they did sort it out. I think they realised early on, yeah, herd mentality's idea is stupid, and then they did the lockdown thing, which is a good idea. But then obviously, well, Cummings did what he did, and I think he should have resigned, in my opinion. But I want to get your take.
No, I 100% agree with your Cummings point. Like, the thing is, if you or I had done what he'd done, it wouldn't have been that bad. Like, this is assuming he's told the truth, right? Like, realistically, all he's done is he feared for his family, so he thought, oh, you know what? The best thing for us to do right now is to be in Durham. Maybe the drive itself was a bit risky, but if he felt 100% okay, cool. The bit that I have the most questions about is why did he drive half hour in the wrong direction if he thinks his eyesight's bad?
Yeah, like I just think he lied. That's why.
Yeah, I think that's yeah, like you said, he lied. Like, I think that must be the little, what's it called? Yeah, the whole of the story. Like, I just don't understand why you would do that. I can't believe that is true. But let's assume everything he's done is right. Is true. Sorry. Then yes, it is like it is a breach, but it's a very minor breach, and it's not
it's a minor breach, but at the same time, like if you or I did it, I think we would have got fined for it.
Yeah, but I'm more talking. So say you or I did it, we didn't get caught, and then you told me, I'd be like, oh yeah, okay, I guess that is a breach, but like I wouldn't judge you too heavily for it. But the difference is Cummings is the person who is meant to be making these rules, enforcing these rules, and it's just like I think it's a crazy situation.
I think that's why people have gotten like mad about it. It's not necessarily because of what he did, but because he's a representative of the government. Like he's Boris's like one of his main men who like you know advises him. He's supposed to, and then he sets all these helps him make all these rules, and then he doesn't even follow them. Like what's the point of having those rules? And if the person who makes the rules is like, it's that whole thing of like, oh well, I'm clever, like. I can bend the rules a bit because I'm clever, but it's that kind of thing.
It really does. It has lessened like the faith in the government from the public. Like people just can't trust the government as much, and I think that within itself, like remove what Cummings done. The public not trusting the government in this time of all times is enough reason for him to be fired, or for him to resign, or to be fired.
Yeah, it's a
really situation.
I think the Tory party's reaction to it was bad as well. They all like came out defending him, like don't do that. Well,
Michael Gove just started like laughing on.
A lot of them are like Hancock. Well, his surname's quite appropriate, isn't it? But like a lot of them like coming out defending. I'm like, why are you doing that? Like you just look, and the whole like thing about. Yeah, what is it with some members, not all of them, but some members of the Tory party, and just not being able to apologise?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm sorry you felt that way, and all, like not all of them.
Yeah, it's such a shit way to say sorry.
Some of them just like they love that like half-assed apology of like. Yeah, but it's a shame.
Have you seen the video of Michael Gove? He like is fully creasing about the situation on.
I heard about it, but I didn't actually see the video.
It was actually like he fully like the guy. I can't remember the show. It's a very popular like political radio show. You'd recognise the guy, and I recognise the guy.
I think my dad listens to it quite a lot. You know.
Yeah, the guy says, "Oh, so if you had bad eyesight." and you're wondering about your eyesight, would you go on a half-hour drive to Michael Gove? And Michael goes, well, I have, and like he clearly hasn't. Like you can tell he's lying. And then he's like, you've gone on a half-hour drive without seeing. He's like, well, I'm not saying that, but he's just like laughing, just lying. It's just like, how is that an okay thing? And Hancock as well, I think it was today, was just like creasing, like hysterically laughing.
Yeah, I saw the video. Actually, I've seen the Hancock one, but I've not seen the
Mate,
one.
It was actually scary how hysterical Hancock was.
I also just want to say Matt Hancock does not represent Newcastle United. Just want to say that right there. I believe he's a Newcastle fan, because there was an interview he did like a couple of months ago, and you could see in the background like something that looked like a Toon shirt, I think.
Wow.
I never would have guessed, to be honest.
Who do you reckon Boris supports?
Well, he's like, he went to Eton, didn't he? I reckon he's like, I don't know. I can see it being like Crystal Palace. I could see. And the reason I say that is because Crystal Palace, like the Palace games I've been to, a lot of their, like, obviously they've got some proper hardcore fans, but they've got quite a white fan base as well. I've noticed. The times I've seen Crystal Palace play, like they're predominantly like have quite a lot of white fans. Yeah. But Chelsea's obviously another one. That makes.
Yeah, I was going to say Chelsea.
Chelsea's another shout. Those two teams, I'd say.
The racism, and also the poshos.
I was going more on the posho side, because actually, I mean, Chelsea have the history of have some racist stuff, but then there are some clubs that have got away with it a lot more. Like, for example,
I mean,
if you look at
football culture is pretty peak to look back on.
If you look at recent things, I remember like not that long ago, I think it was Leicester were one of the teams near the top of the racism league, however you want to call it, like the staff.
The racism league.
You know what I mean? Like, with like racist abuse things. Like Leicester were near the top.
What's happened with Leicester recently?
I don't know if it was recently, but it's in the last couple of seasons. Like, there's been so I think Leicester have been up there, or in terms I think it might have been fan arrests or something like that.
Interesting.
Yeah, I guess because it's like a sort of Midlands city. It's like it's fairly I think it's a city where there's quite a lot of poverty in Leicester, I think. Maybe that's what I don't know. Maybe that is, I don't know. But at least I think a couple of seasons ago, it was Leicester were near the top for like I think racist incidents, at least documented ones anyway.
I suppose that brings us on to what's going on in America at the moment. Quite.
Oh yeah! Wow.
Quite naturally, like it's crazy. The whole George Floyd thing. It's George Floyd. Crazy. Have you seen the video?
I saw a bit of it, but not gonna lie, I'd rather not someone. I'd rather not watch someone get killed. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of my. But obviously, I saw a bit of it, and it was just really unpleasant. Yeah,
it is. It's really, really. It's a heartbreaking video, to be honest. Like, honestly, no matter what he had done before that, he could have been. He honestly could have been a murderer. He could have robbed somewhere. He could have even been a terrorist, right? And to the point of where he was at, he was handcuffed. He was detained on the floor. There was literally no reason for a knee to be on his neck in that situation. Like, but maybe they needed to push his neck down to get him to the ground. But now he's on the ground. Handcuffs are on him. Your knee doesn't need to be there. And videos have come out since showing that he was completely, what's the word? Like he wasn't fighting arrest. He wasn't resisting arrest.
No, yeah.
It's just a ridiculous story, and I feel like America are getting close to the tipping point. I know this has happened a lot of times with the riots and stuff like that. It just feels like it's starting to happen too often, and it happens so often.
I feel a lot of it as though this kind of stuff is now more and more getting recorded as well.
That's what Will Smith said, didn't he?
Yeah, I agree with that to an extent. Like a lot of it's just like we're just seeing more because there's people. We have that like literally like our phones. We can just whip out a camera and like I think that's part of it as well. As I think it's always been there. I don't know about the statistics and stuff. I think, but it's always been there, and I think now we're getting worldwide. I think people are starting to see it more because it's just easier access.
The internet and being able to feel. And I think this case in particular is so emotive because of the video of him saying like I can't breathe, like I'm going to die, my lungs hurt, like I can't breathe, like get off me. And he's not even saying it in an aggressive way. He's saying it in complete like he's pleading.
He's pleading for his life. You know what I mean?
It's a heartbreaking video, man. I think it'd be very interesting to see what comes of this, because I mean, there's been riots and huge things following these kind of events that have happened in America, but none of them have been during an epidemic. And the fact that the riots at this scale and during an epidemic shows how I don't know what word I'm looking for, but I think America are close to something. I don't know what. Apparently Trump's looking at passing a bill about social media or something. I don't know if that's related to it, but it seems like.
Yeah, I mean, his Twitter account is like, I'll see tweets and I always quite often have to double check it's actually him and it's not some like parody account.
Did you see his Snapchat one?
Which one was that? Cause was it the?
You know, like the funeral meme thing.
Oh yeah. He
tweeted that. But it was like Joe Biden it was like Joe Biden's political career was in there or something. It's just like, oh my god.
The thing is, do you think with the memes and stuff, do you think he's making that, or do you think someone else is making that for him? I believe the tweets are him, like just boom. But do you think
someone else is making?
Do you think? Yeah, I'm saying in the White House, is there just someone who's obviously probably does other stuff, but is there just someone who's like, all right, you're like the memes maker like section of the White House, like. Imagine that being like part of your job description. Like, I'm sure he does other stuff for Trump as well, but like,
yeah.
But like, part of his job is just to make memes.
Yeah.
For Trump. That's such a weird thought.
Your daughter brings home a guy and she's like, oh, I really love him. Like, please be nice, please be nice. Sat around the dinner table. So what is your job? Oh, I actually make memes for the president, Donald Trump.
Yeah, you know the Joe Biden funeral meme. Yeah, that's one of my creations. That one.
I made that one.
I made that one. I've got the trademark and everything. But like Jenny, there must be some like it must be some sort of social. He must have some sort of social media like advisors to some extent. Like I'm sure they do other stuff as well. But like some guys just whipping off his laptop or Mac or whatever and just putting some memes.
So he has his own personal one. So I've just got it up now. Donald J. Trump, the real Donald Trump. That's his personal one, right? Because then he's also got the president one.
Oh, has he?
So the president one is very official. It's just like, oh, I am the president of the United States. Like,
I swear he still if it's the one I'm thinking, I swear on the president one he still chats a lot of shit on there.
So on the POTUS one, he what he actually tweets is like official stuff, but he retweets his own personal Twitter.
Of course.
On the POTUS one, so it goes to the same audience, I guess.
Yeah.
But
exactly. Well, I mean, if you're a Trump fan, you're gonna be following both those accounts anyway. Yeah. It's not like someone's like, well, I'm not. It's like, mate, Trump's got a non-private private account basically.
Yeah.
He's literally like follow my prive, even though it's open, but he's literally got a private account. That's quite funny. That's quite a funny thought as well.
I'm trying to find. I'm going down his Twitter now. From what I see here, I don't see a single tweet about the situation going on. It's all about coronavirus and Joe Biden.
Well, yeah, I feel like for him, like I feel like whatever he says, there'll be backlash to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, but still, like, I mean...
No, I'm not saying he shouldn't, but I'm just saying it'll be one of those things, in a weird way, I can kind of see why he's not saying anything about it, just because I feel like... But yeah, he should say something at least. But...
Yeah, I thought he'd at least say, like, oh, this situation is very bad, we'll put an investigation into it. I know, obviously, it doesn't mean anything, him saying that, but...
Yeah, I think thing is, with anything he puts out, people always are just like...
Oh, here we go. It's the Daily Mail, I've said this, though. At my request, the FBI and the Department of Justice are very well into an investigation about the very sad situation. That's what he said.
Oh, fair enough. Actually, I've got a good...
It's just a nothing tweet.
I was going to say, I've got a very interesting question for you, because I've got an answer for this. Who's like the strangest person you follow on Twitter in terms of like... So what I mean by this is like, so... Like, you follow them, and like, if you told someone, you'd be like, oh, I wouldn't have expected you to follow them. I've got my one, but is there someone that you follow on Twitter who, like, I wouldn't expect you to follow?
I mean, Trump is one of them.
Trump's a good one.
But I feel like Trump's not a surprising one because it is Trump. No. Like, Trump's quite a popular Twitter to follow. Is
there any other ones?
I'm scrolling down now to see. Don't know. I've a fairly normal... Who do you have?
My main weird follow. One of them's, well, the less controversial one is James Blunt, just because he's quite funny. I'm not like a big fan of his music, but like, he's all right songs, but he's just quite funny. So that's why I follow him. And the other one, this is a really like out there. I don't think you'd expect me to say this, but OJ Simpson.
Yeah, that is a joke song.
And the reason why, obviously, I don't think. Well, in my opinion, I don't think he was innocent. That's a discussion for another time.
Yeah.
But the reason I follow him is because the replies to anything he tweets is just unbelievable.
I can imagine.
Like, there's always one person, because he always starts off with his Twitter videos like, "Hello world, this is yours truly," and there's always someone who puts like in the replies like a photo of SpongeBob like worshipping this like sign, and it's like, and the sign says, "Hello Twitter world, this is yours truly," and then people always just make puns about like murder related puns, and it's pretty, it's kind of funny.
Yeah, no. Sometimes the replies to a tweet are actually way more entertaining than the actual tweet. That was a terrible voice crack.
Just his videos are just so bizarre. Like, it does seem like he's in his own sort of his own planet, in a way.
Yeah.
Like, she's very, very strange. A very strange bloke.
Okay, so I've scrolled down. Honestly, my Twitter's quite boring.
Yeah. I mean, OJ Simpson's like my only wacky one. I don't really follow anyone else that's that wacky, I don't think.
But I've actually gone through the whole thing, and there's only one that stands out, right? So there's a guy called Uncle Adams, okay? So he is a guy who basically, he quit his job. He quit literally everything. He and put everything into becoming a professional rapper. Like, he wanted to. He ended up having he has a YouTube channel, and he ended up like kind of like a documentary style vlog thing, where he was trying to become like a full-time rapper. It was called the At Least a Million Mission. So he wanted like at least 1 million monthly listeners or something on Spotify, right? The thing is, he is just shit. Like, he's just terrible. He's got a song called Original, which is just an awful song. But he's just got such a funny personality, and in all these like vlogs, he really like tells every detail, and he is in crippling debt. Like, he takes loans upon loans upon loans to like go to the studio, record something, like film a music video, and he thinks, he's like, this is the one I'm going to blow up over this. And he's, fortunately for him, I guess, has blown up as a meme. He now
has he? Okay.
Yeah, like, he's got 38.5k subscribers on YouTube.
Yeah, that's not too bad. That's pretty good.
Uncle Adams on Spotify, he gets 24k monthly listeners. His top songs got 1.3 million. Like, he's got some sort of fan base.
Yeah, he's like a cult following almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair play to him. Fair play to him.
But he's just such a meme. He's just such a meme.
From the sounds of it, I can see why, man. Like, he just sounds like this. Actually, as well, one type of thing that I've been really getting into. I mean, I watched a few of the videos, but I've recently been binging a lot of these videos. I think I've sent you a couple of these type videos before. But have you heard of a radio DJ called Pete Price?
I've heard the name. I think probably from you sending it to me.
Essentially, what it is, so he's this radio. I think recently, since the outbreak, I think he's actually might have lost his job or something. But he's been like a radio host of this local Scouse radio station for like years, like possibly a good couple of decades. Like, it's just a standard like the kind of radio chat show, but he quite often gets trolled by people on the phone and stuff. And he gets like, he has the biggest rages. Like, he genuinely, like, he just, the pranksters and stuff, like, they just get him every time, and he rages so much. Like, he comes out worse than the guys who are pranking him, because he just says these like horrible things to them.
Yeah.
There's one time where like this, I don't know if the guy's actually pranking or not, but he said it was like an old man. This guy was like, it's supposed to be an old man. But then he starts raging at him because he's like, he said, you're 16 years old. He's like, stop putting on a voice. He's like, I'm not putting on, this is my real voice.
Oh, I have seen that one. Yeah, you must have sent me that one.
Yeah, I think I sent you that one. Then he basically goes, and then there's another guy rings up, and then he's like, oh, hi, Pete. He starts talking, and he's like, he's talking about some like youth center or something. And and then he goes, my 12-year-old lad goes, he goes, you got a 12-year-old lad? How can you have a 12-year-old lad when you're 16 years old, you stupid moron? And then he goes, Pete, I'm 32. He's like, if you're 32, I'll show my backside to the Vatican. Like, he just goes off on these rages. Like, it's honestly,
It's like
it's so entertaining, man. I'd recommend it.
That Goldbridge clip has become a bit of a meme in like my group of mates. Like, you know, the one where he's like gets a donation on Twitch or whatever, and he's like, very sorry to hear about your dog and all like that. And I'm not going to bother. I won't give it justice, but definitely give it a look.
Oh, I definitely. Mark Goldbridge is another one who I've been watching a lot of him as well, because he's so funny. He's literally like if Alan Partridge and David Brent had a child.
Yeah.
He's like a big mix of both of them. He honestly is so funny. Like, just watching him play FIFA is because he's just not very good.
Talking about Partridge in The Office.
Yeah.
What have you been watching on Netflix or whatever, TV show wise?
I haven't been watching that much in terms of Netflix stuff. I feel like, well, I made a deal with my drum teacher because I've got back into drumming since lockdown, and at the same time my drum teacher's been giving out lessons through Zoom and stuff. So I'm doing an exchange with him where if he watches 2 series of these some Alan Partridge stuff I'd watched, because I'm planning to watch Extras, which I've seen a couple of episodes, but I've seen the Bowie and the Daniel Radcliffe episode. And there was another show that he recommended, I can't remember which one, so hopefully I'll start Extras soon. But for me, it's more been exploring music. What I've been doing. What about you in terms of TV? Like
TV, The Office, not The Office, sorry. Community came back on Netflix, which I used to like love back in like year 10 or whatever, and I rewatched that from front to back. I hadn't watched it in such a long time. Like, most of the episodes I'd forgot about. So it was like really nice to go back and rewatch that. Second season of Afterlife came out. Enjoyed watching that. And I've just started Inside Number 9, which is a really good show. If you haven't seen that, it's a BBC show, and it's kind of like it's one of those shows where every episode is a new, completely different story, disconnected from everything. And I'm only like 2 episodes in, but they're really interesting. Like, they tell a story in a very interesting way. Like, the second episode, I don't think a word is actually spoken throughout the whole thing. It's like about these guys who are robbing a house. So everything is spoken, like with them just going like not really speaking. They're just like miming things to each other. It's a really interesting way to tell a story. But yeah, music wise, I have just really got into. It's kind of come from the whole mic check thing that I've been doing. I've really just got into like the UK hip hop scene, like mainly London, but like I've also been branching up north a little bit more. And with working, I listen to like classic lo-fi hip hop stuff. So like Nujabes or Nujabes, I don't really know how you pronounce it, stuff like that. But yeah, I've had a good experience of art while I've been in lockdown. I think most people have thrown themselves into TV, music, film, and all like that because it's a great way to escape your bedroom.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, I think for me, in terms of music, so me and my mate Marcus, we've been like, it's sort of died off a bit recently, but for a long time we were doing like album a day kind of stuff. So you send each other an album, that type of thing. And honestly, like, even the albums I've not liked that much, there's still been stuff on it I like. Like, there's none of the albums he's sent me I thought, oh, this is terrible. They're all like at least at worst like pretty okay. But yeah, the main sort of artists that I've discovered properly are Foals. I really like them. Foals are really cool. A Knife in the Ocean is a song that I'd really recommend. It's got the drumming on it, sick. It's got a nice beat on that. I've just had who was the other? Oh my god, no! Don't do this to me. There was someone else who I'd. Tom Misch, that was it. Tom Misch was another.
Oh yeah, Tom Misch.
He's really cool. I think I like. It's cool to see like sort of a more modern. Because I don't know much jazz in general, but hearing some modern jazz is quite cool because I don't know much modern jazz in general anyway. So that's nice. It's nice how I think it's the first album he fuses in like stuff like rap and jazz, which is just it really works.
He collaborates a lot with Loyal Kana.
And that sounds really cool. I really like his music. It's very like atmospheric and like it's good like sort of background music as well.
Yeah, it's proper relaxing, just chill music.
I really like it. So those are the main 2 artists that I'd say I've really come to like. But also I've got my mate, I got Marcus more into. I mean, he knew a lot of their songs anyway, but as in album wise, he didn't know the Beatles that well. So I've sent him loads of Beatles albums. I sent him my top 5 Beatles albums, and I sent him a couple of other ones as well. And he's properly got into them, man. Like I know I think like me, he loves Abbey Road. Like he's been banging out that one a lot. Which obviously is the greatest album of all time. So what do you expect? Like that's how it's gonna be.
I'm gonna have to agree to disagree. It's not even the Beatles' best album, but we move.
But we move.
Yeah, I mean, for me, C.L. Brooks. If you've spoken to me about music in the last while, you will know how much I love C.L. Brooks. It's a guy, very like quite a low key rapper. Let me see how many monthly listeners he's got. He's got 5.2k monthly listeners, but he's dropped an album and 2 EPs this year. I'm not a huge fan of Out for Lunch, but it's still trying to click with me, I think.
Yeah, sometimes with albums
Honestly,
it takes time.
I discovered him this year, and I just love his music. Everything he's dropped.
How long has he been going then? Is he fairly?
My favorite project from him is Habits, which is the album that came out in 2017.
Oh, so he's fairly.
So he's been going for a while. He got signed to a label this year, and that's how I found him.
Oh, okay, fair enough. So what? So obviously you said it was rap. Is he British? Is it British?
Yeah, he's British. I actually have no clue where he's from. He's got such a unique voice. He does this thing where he like pronounces some words like a northerner and some words like a southerner.
Yeah, I know people who like that.
It's really interesting.
He could be Midlands, to be fair, if that's the case.
It may be. It means that he can like he has just such a unique like rhyme scheme and flow on his tracks. It's just really interesting. I'm just a big fan. And he also talks a lot about like going out and drinking, and it just makes me so like reminiscent. Like it just makes me like just want to be at the pub with my mates and just like having a drink and just being out. Like now uni is done. Like before when uni was going on, I would be waking up every day like we said and just working. But now uni is done, I'm just like okay, I just want to go out and see my friends now. Obviously I'm not going to because I'm following lockdown.
No, of course.
To the book, but yeah, it's just starting to miss everything now. I'm gonna try to keep myself as busy as possible. Like I applied for some jobs yesterday.
Oh yeah.
I want to go do pizza delivery. I love pizza delivery.
To be fair, yeah, there's a lot of appeal to that because you're always moving about and like it's.
Well, you sat in your car listening to music all day.
Yeah, exactly. I could. That seems like a cool job to have. I'm gonna go back to my. I'm gonna email my job and they're saying because they may not.
Yeah.
It may not even need me that much because no one really has. I feel like the employees there they're not going anywhere. You know what I mean? Like they may need me every now and then, but I'll at least ask.
Yeah,
maybe.
It's also their business, which probably is paint, isn't it?
Well, yeah, paint and tools is the
main. So it's not like it's something that they're going to be getting a lot of business of right now.
I think there'd be what I was thinking was I think there'd be more than you realise because I reckon people want to be doing like their own DIY stuff. But you can still with the lockdown rules, you can have people come into your house and like do stuff as long as it's
safe.
To do that as well. Yeah. So So I think
I do think business would have gone down a little bit.
Yeah. The demand isn't going to be that high, but it's probably higher than you'd think.
Yeah.
To be honest, man, we could do a whole podcast episode on the importance of paint and stuff. I could do a whole episode on that, just educating you on the world of paint. It's actually surprisingly interesting.
Yeah. What, you talking about huffing it?
Well, nah, that's a complete. I've got a funny story about that. So, this guy who worked there at my work, I'm not going to out the name of the work just in case. You know, I don't know what the legal things are behind that, but we'll just say the paint shop just cause. But this guy, we'll call him Jason. That's not his name.
Yeah.
We'll call him Jason. So, Jason started working for us, and. So we were like using the paint machine to like mix paint. So what you do is you put in the thing in the computer and then you put the can underneath and like it fills up and then you put like the thing on, you put it in the shaker and it like makes the color. And this guy was just an idiot and like he was pretty rubbish anyway. Like he was flaky as well. Like he quite often just didn't come to work and stuff. But I remember like one time he got too close to the paint and he was just an idiot and he just inhaled like the paint and he had like a momentary like I was just like, why are you doing that, you idiot, man?
Yeah.
And this guy's older than me as well. Like Jason was. I was just like, this guy is just a complete.
To be honest, I think I'd forget about that. Like I didn't really think. I feel like huffing paint is a joke. Like I forget that people actually do it. Like it's a proper crackhead.
Well. Yeah, it's the thing is as well. It's huffing paint would be stupid because it's actually really expensive. Well, like the paints that we sell anyway, because it's like more it's like trade. I guess
Yeah.
like people buy the cheap paint. Even still, like it's still not like
Yeah,
a fair.
I wonder if there's a difference between it. If it's like, oh, wait, what's that? You got blue paint? Oh, no,
No, you know what?
red
You know
paint.
what? You joke about that. I reckon that's probably true. You know.
Yeah, well, I
The
mean,
different
definitely.
because even with even like the reason why like trade paint's more expensive is because the ingredients that are put in it. There's more like stuff that put it to make it basically better quality and like that sort of thing. So yeah, that probably is like if you well I don't know maybe trade paint's better to sniff. Who knows? Like I have no idea. I would assume it probably is because it's got more stuff in it.
Yeah.
If we're going off the
Or
ingredients,
maybe
but...
they want the cheaper one because it's got like dirty, gritty stuff.
Well, yeah, maybe I could go either way. To be honest, but yeah, don't sniff paint, guys. Don't do it.
Yeah, I really forget that people do that.
Yeah, I think it's a very like 2000s thing. I think
Yeah,
that's what I associate it with anyway.
yeah. It's weird. It's weird to think that there is like, to be honest, when this whole lockdown thing happened and when it was like, when it first happened, it felt like really apocalyptic and it was really like, oh my god, this is so weird. We're going through this right now. I was one of the first groups of people I thought about was like, those people who live in like crack dens and they're living in like really horrible like
Yeah,
living situations. They're like just on meth every day and stuff. Like this must be crazy for them as well because like obviously they're high on drugs all the time, so like their sense of reality is warped. But also because of the situation they're living in. Like I'm lucky enough that I could go home and I live in a house with my mum, dad, and my brother, who are all fairly normal humans, and like we are clean and we're not making everything messy, and we can keep hygiene. But those people who live in these like crack dens, like they're living a peak life. Plus, coronavirus
oh
exists.
yeah. What's weird as well is so in Weybridge as well. Like there's this woman I've never seen before until I came back from uni. But this woman like there's something not it's just something there's something up. Or I'll put
Yeah,
I don't know the right way to phrase it, but there's something
yeah,
up. We'll put it that way. And like quite often, like I think it's because she obviously just sees me about the high street quite often. So I think she thinks that we're like mates or something. Like and like she'll generally like every time I walk past her, she'll always say something to me. Like there was one time my mum went to like get some food from the supermarket and she was like, oh yeah, she was like, I'll give you a ring when I'm done so you can like carry some of it back. And I was like, yeah, sure. So I was like walking along, and she like just walks past and she just goes, I'm gonna have a cigarette, and I just went, oh, okay, cool. Like I just feel like there's no point in like saying it's because like she obviously just is she's obviously just she's not going to process it, is she, and like stop doing it. So I
yeah,
might as well just like respond.
yeah.
So, just something like okay, well cool, fair enough. Like that.
Oh man, she's probably
That
been
is
waiting for
bizarre.
you to go have a cigarette with her for so long
Like,
now.
legends say she's still waiting near the Waitrose for a cigarette with me, but it never came, mate. Never came.
Next time you go Waitrose, you're gonna see her there, just on the same corner, just crying like, "Mark, where have you been?
I
Been
mean, I'd
waiting,
be surprised if she knew my name. I'd be quite scared if she actually knew my name, but.
Mark Murphy."
To be fair, I actually would be frightened if she, like she does scare me a bit in a weird way.
Mark, how'd second year at uni go? Uni of Essex, isn't it? Oh
Oh
yeah,
my
no.
god, don't even like. It's actually the thought of this is actually quite scary.
Oh, I heard your last podcast. That was nice you
Oh
spoke
yeah,
about me.
yeah. Hey, how's the boxing bit? How's Ryan doing? Like what? Just like name dropping other people that I know. Like what? But I think as well in a Weybridge context, like you just don't see people like that, so that's why it's weird for me as well. Like
Yeah.
I feel like it's like from the stories you told me. I feel like that stuff in Southend's kind of like it's a bit more of that. Even in Windsor, from the stuff that Evan, who has appeared on this podcast, check out the episode if you want. It's one of the first guest episodes. But yeah, I think when he was in Windsor, he's had some strange people say stuff.
Yeah.
But for Weybridge, it's just so bizarre for that to happen.
But yeah,
It
that's what I mean. Is like for someone like that who has something going on in their life, this situation must be so strange. Like imagine people who are like schizophrenic, for example. Like, surely this is gonna push those people over the edge a little bit more. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I think that just in general, I think a lot of people, even people, like, I think it's affecting a lot of people's like mental health and stuff as well.
Oh, of
just in
course,
general.
definitely.
I definitely think there's a lot of people who I've seen just from like social media and stuff. Like some people have just lost it, man. Like not even I'm not even this is not me like criticizing people, but like just people are just posting a lot more like just stuff that makes me. I'm looking at it, I'm like, why are you posting that? Like obviously people can post what they want. I don't really care, but it just makes me think like, God, some people have just like lost it, man. Like,
Well, I think you can tell people are bored and it's been like a huge thing that we've been debating in my group chat, is cancel culture. Like if you logged on Twitter like at all this week, you would have seen someone got cancelled every single day of the week. Like literally, I think from Monday to Wednesday, Monday to Tuesday, I think 3 people got cancelled in 2 days. Like it was ridiculous. Like you had Lana Del Rey get cancelled for over. Really, she didn't really say much. Like but the actual message of her post was like, I don't think my music is appreciated enough. I don't. People say that I'm saying women back 100 years, and like that is obviously a nothing statement. And then people were saying like, oh, you shouldn't bring down other artists with you because she named a bunch of artists, and then try to make it like a race issue. Which I think was a bit like, it was like a side point to what she was saying. Like, I don't think she was trying to bring these artists down.
No, it sounds to me like a lot of people are just looking for stuff that's not there as well.
Yeah.
Part of it is just like when you psychoanalyze a lot of things, people come up with stuff that's not even there.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, who are the other people? Because I just in terms of
Doja Cat got cancelled.
I'm not on top of like the cancel culture at all.
Man,
it winds me up.
I'm a big anti-cancel culture person, but Doja Cat got cancelled, and out of all of them, that's the most recent. She's basically been going on like Tiny Chat, which is like a webcam thing, with like people who are racist, and then a song came out that used like a racial slur, and she came out and said like she made the song in critique of like that whole thing, and like she's like mixed race, she's part of the black community, but people were saying that she's like ashamed of her black side and stuff like that. But yeah, it was just like, I understand why people were like annoyed by the things that had come out, and I think cancel culture is just very vicious and like super like quick to jump like, oh, she was in a Tiny Chat with people who are racist, she made a song that uses this slur that I don't agree with, and straight away they're like, cancel her, like get her off everything. And I honestly do believe that a lot of this came from, did you see that she like said that if her song gets to #1 she'll show her tits? And like,
no, I didn't.
She said that, and it was so blatantly a joke, and people got so annoyed when she didn't do it.
Oh,
and like, she was obviously joking.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, though, were the people getting mad who they didn't have it? Did many just like is it just what the section of Twitter that I like to call horny Twitter?
Yeah, of course.
I'm guessing it was just horny Twitter getting upset.
Yeah, it was that, and also some people making a joke. Like, it was a funny joke that, like, both ways. Like, oh, she's gonna show him, and oh no, she didn't show him. Like, it was a funny joke, but then there was people who like seriously were like, I can't believe this.
Mate, horny Twitter can be vicious, man.
Yeah,
it's underrated in its viciousness, in my opinion. Some people are horrible when they're horny, man. It's a very, very bizarre thing. But we're talking of cancel culture, though. One thing I've kind of thought about recently is like, God, so many people from like the 20th century, like whether it be like musicians or like figures or whatever, or like pretty much all of them would have had like, oh, cancel this person, because like I think a lot of people with that kind of thing as well, they don't apply context, and like, yeah, I feel like so many figures back in the day would have been exposed to cancel culture. Like Martin Luther King would have had it, like just Keith Richards, for example. Like so many people would have been victimized of that as well.
I mean, yeah, like a lot of big artists like Bowie and stuff like that have done questionable things in their past that really people would have cancelled them for. And to be honest, the Bowie one is a bit questionable, but we won't get into that.
Yeah,
but I think if we're bringing it more contemporary, you've got Jimmy Kimmel and Jimmy Fallon were both cancelled as well this week for blackface, which obviously 100% negative. Don't do that. It's out of order. It's racist.
Yeah, don't do
like I'm not condoning it, but it was done 20 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Back then, the stigma around blackface was a lot less. I'm not saying that what they've done is fine. It is good and okay, but that context has to be better.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, for example, another example actually. Have you heard of Skinner and Baddiel, the comedians?
No.
Frank Skinner and Thingy Baddiel. These two comedians, they teamed up with the Lightning Seeds to do It's Coming Home, It's Coming. So they had this show in the 90s where they'd, like, just like a football comedy chat show kind of thing. And there's like a bit where they basically there's a striker for like I think it was Nottingham Forest called like Jason Lee, and they had a thing where like it's like the joke was, oh, he's got a pineapple on his head like with his hair and stuff, but like it was really awkward because like the guy's in blackface and you're like, oh.
Yeah, it's really
like,
cringy to look at
it's
now.
really
And
dated.
it is 100% wrong. And when you look at it now, you are like, oh, this is out of order. But the thing is, you do have to remember at the time it wasn't looked at as bad as that. Even though it doesn't change that it is wrong.
But I feel like David Baddiel as well. I feel like he probably knows this as well. And I feel like Fallon and Kimmel, they probably know that now.
Yeah,
well.
definitely.
So what's the point? Like,
yeah, I understand people being annoyed about it, to be honest.
Yeah,
I do understand. I 100% understand it, but it's just such a difficult, especially with racism. It's such a difficult topic to approach when looking back. It's a very hard thing. If they'd done blackface this weekend, then yeah, awful. Get them off everything. I completely understand it. But when you start looking 20 years ago, yes, they deserve criticism for it. They deserve abuse for it to an extent. But like, do they deserve to be completely deplatformed? Do they deserve their whole show taken away from them because of this mistake they made 20 years ago?
Yeah, I think it's one of those things. You'd like to think that Fallon and Kimmel would have learned from that. I think they probably. I think they probably have. Like, what's the point?
I mean, to be honest, as much as I am against cancel culture, I do think it is good that it brought this issue up to an extent for them to then apologise for it, but not to the extent of like the amount of abuse that they're going to get and stuff like that may go too far. But to be honest, I feel like it's already been forgotten of.
Actually, another blackface instance that I only just remembered recently as well was you've seen the film Tropic Thunder?
Yeah.
Yeah, I completely forgot that. Is it Robert Downey Jr.? He's got. I'd forgotten about that.
Yeah, but isn't that the whole joke? Like, I think the joke is because the joke is like he's a white guy playing a black dude who's playing a black dude who's playing a white dude who's playing a black dude.
Yeah. I think that's
like, the whole joke is like kind of.
Oh, of course, yeah. But
I
still think that would be. I'm surprised that's not been. I know, like even if it was for the joke purposes, I still feel like that would be.
Yeah.
I'm still surprised.
No, I don't think it'd pass in a movie today.
No, I wouldn't.
And again, I suppose that does support the case of context of where back then that was something that was a little bit more okay. And yeah, there's so many things, man. Like you look back and things are super uncomfortable to look at that are old. I can't remember what it was. I was talking to someone recently that like a whole movie is just uncomfortable to watch now. That was a classic back in the day. What was it? Can't remember.
I mean, I'm a big Bond fan, and even you get those little moments in those films where I'm like, yeah, this isn't.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like I think with Bond, it's kind of different because it's almost part of the character, and it's based on like real spying, and that's what a lot of spying was. It was like, so that's kind of like the point of the film as films as well. But yeah, it's still obviously uncomfortable, like to an extent as well. But I kind of look past it because I feel like there's more to it than that. But I know James Bond's a bit of a interesting one.
Yeah, it's very cancel culture is such an interesting thing. I mean, I suppose it can. I think the most times when it is used for good kind of thing is when it exposes an actual crime that has been done. But I feel like at that point, is it even cancel culture? It's just someone doing a crime and then people being like, don't do that crime. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that just sounds more like an exposing than like a...
Yeah, than cancel culture.
Yeah.
Definitely. But yeah, we've covered some interesting topics. Well, we've covered a broad amount of topics today.
I flew by as well. It's flown by, like.
Yeah, coronavirus to
paint,
huffing paint to cancel culture and the George Floyd situation
and everything in between.
And literally, well, maybe not everything in between. I feel like there's a lot of in between those. To be honest,
definitely, a lot of stuff, man.
Yeah, well, I guess it's the end of our first return back podcast.
Yeah, I didn't. You know, if you asked me a couple of months ago or so how we'd return, I wouldn't have expected it to be in this, but we'll take it. We'll take it.
I think with the common ones, I'm saying this now. We can cut it out if we don't want it in. But I think we should try to we'll come with like a story or two prepared and tell a funny like a story that pre-lockdown stuff, because like there's not much going on in my life at the moment. Like I'm just sat here or in my bed behind me. So like I think I've already got a list of stories that I have from my life to tell.
I think there'll be a cool idea that I'd like to do, is maybe read some funny like Google reviews of certain things.
Oh yeah, we've said about this before actually.
I love those kind of like, I love watching videos of like people reading them and stuff. Like if I can dig out some like good reviews of stuff, I reckon that'll be a good laugh.
Yeah.
Well, just like because I think there's one where I think it was for Bend It Like Beckham. The Google reviews, like some of the spelling and like stuff is atrocious. Absolutely awful.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to experiment a little bit more and make these a little bit just fun in it, because I feel like everyone needs a bit more fun in their life now than.
Well, yeah, exactly. Try and do the best we can. But yeah, I think we'll end it there. So I've been the Box,
and I have been the Beard.